most profound deceptions are often not acts of commission but of omission. They are the silences, the withdrawals, the strategic disappearances that dismantle expectations and reforge reality. What if the very notion of constant presence, of perpetual visibility, is not a path to influence, but a subtle, insidious trap designed to deplete your most vital resources? We are told to engage, to be seen, to network, to broadcast every facet of our lives. Yet, history whispers a different truth, a chilling counter-narrative of power forged in the crucible of absence. Before we even utter the phrase ghost mode, consider this. The most formidable predators, the most cunning strategists rarely announce their intentions. They vanish, not out of fear, but out of a calculated understanding that true strength is often cultivated in the unseen, in the quiet, in the deliberate act of becoming utterly inscrutable. This is not about hiding, it's about preparation, about the silent accumulation of an unassailable advantage. Ghost mode, in its most potent manifestation, is not merely a temporary withdrawal from social media or an intentional period of solitude. It is a sophisticated psychological strategy, a deliberate orchestration of one's personal and professional environment to maximize focus, minimize external interference, and accelerate the acquisition of a specific, often formidable, advantage. This concept, far from being a modern fad, echoes through the annals of history, a recurring motif among those who understood that the chaotic demands of the collective often serve as a powerful deterrent to individual mastery. Think of the reclusive scholars who shaped entire philosophical movements from isolated monastic cells, or the military strategists who meticulously planned campaigns in absolute secrecy, their absence from public life a testament to their unwavering commitment to a singular objective. Their power was not diminished by their invisibility. It was amplified, refined, and made more formidable. The genesis of ghost mode lies in a fundamental understanding of human psychology, our finite attention, our susceptibility to external validation, and the corrosive nature of constant stimulation. In an age of performative living, where every achievement and setback is curated for public consumption, the act of deliberate withdrawal becomes a radical assertion of self-sovereignty. It is a refusal to participate in the collective delusion that constant engagement equates to progress. This strategy acknowledges that true growth, the kind that fundamentally alters one's trajectory and capabilities, often requires a period of intense, undistracted introspection and application. It is the crucible where raw potential is forged into formidable skill, far from the distracting glare of public scrutiny and the incessant noise of popular opinion. This is where the dark art of self-mastery truly begins. The first pillar of ghost mode is all strategic isolation. This isn't misanthropy, it's a tactical retreat. By consciously reducing exposure to social obligations, digital distractions, and unsolicited opinions, an individual creates an inviolable mental sanctuary. This sanctuary is not empty, it is filled with purposeful work, deep learning, and relentless self-assessment. Consider figures like Isaac Newton who, during the Great Plague of 1665, retreated to his family estate, effectively entering an involuntary ghost mode. This period of intense, undisturbed intellectual isolation led to breakthroughs in calculus, optics, and gravitation, foundational concepts that reshaped scientific understanding. His absence from the bustling intellectual centers of his time was not a handicap. It was the fertile ground upon which genius blossomed, unburdened by the distractions and expectations of his peers. The power of his intellect was not diluted by social interaction, but concentrated by solitude. The second pillar is unseen cultivation. While in ghost mode, the focus shifts entirely to the silent accumulation of skills, knowledge, and resources. This is not about showcasing progress, it's about building a formidable internal arsenal. Every hour spent away from public gaze is an hour invested in sharpening a weapon, mastering a craft, or deciphering a complex system. It's the antithesis of fake it till you make it. It's master it till you cannot be ignored. Think of Sun Tzu, the legendary author of The Art of War, whose very existence is shrouded in mystery. His teachings emphasize deception, knowing oneself, and understanding the enemy, all principles best honed in a state of quiet observation and meticulous planning, far from the battlefield's chaos. His absence from detailed historical records, ironically, amplifies the myth of his strategic genius, a testament to the power of unseen cultivation. Third, and most subtly potent, is controlled re-emergence. The return from ghost mode is not a timid re-entry, but a calculated unveiling of a transformed self. The impact is magnified precisely because the journey was unseen. The individual emerges not just improved, but often shockingly more capable, more confident, and more formidable than remembered. This surprise element is a powerful psychological weapon. It disrupts existing power dynamics, challenges preconceived notions, and often inspires a grudging respect or even fear. Consider the strategic disappearances of certain political figures who withdraw from public life only to return with a newly consolidated power base or a radically altered public image, their absence having allowed for a quiet recalibration of strategy and alliances. The silence preceding their return amplifies the resonance of their re-entry, making their presence feel almost inevitable, predetermined. The mechanics of this reasoning hinge on the principle of scarcity and perceived value. In a world inundated with constant communication, silence becomes a valuable commodity. When an individual withdraws, their social capital doesn't necessarily diminish. It often concentrates, creating an aura of mystery and importance. People begin to wonder, to speculate, to project significance onto the absent figure. This psychological phenomenon is not accidental. It is a predictable human response to the unknown. The individual in ghost mode leverages this by denying easy access, thereby increasing their perceived worth upon re-engagement. It's a fundamental power play. Control the flow of information, control perception. The less available one is, the more desirable or even formidable one can become. Furthermore, ghost mode facilitates a ruthless acta self-assessment and elimination of weakness. Without the constant feedback loop of social interaction, the individual is forced to confront their own flaws and inefficiencies directly. There is no audience to perform for, no external validation to seek. This brutal honesty is uncomfortable, even painful, but it is precisely this discomfort that catalyzes profound change. The external world often provides convenient distractions from our internal shortcomings. By removing these distractions, ghost mode forces a direct confrontation with one's authentic, unvarnished self. This period becomes a psychological crucible where illusions are shattered and a stronger, more resilient identity is forged, free from the soft comforts of external approval. Consider the strategic disappearance of Niccolo Machiavelli after the Medici's return to Florence in 1512. Stripped of his political office, exiled to his farm, Machiavelli entered a profound ghost mode. This period of forced isolation, far from being a defeat, became the fertile ground for the creation of the Prince. He spent his days in quiet study, corresponding with ancient authors and meticulously analyzing the dynamics of power. His re-emergence, albeit through his writings rather than direct political action, profoundly shaped political thought for centuries. His absence from the immediate political arena allowed him to transcend its petty squabbles and distill universal truths about human nature and governance, truths that continue to unsettle and guide those who seek to understand power. His banishment was, in essence, his most potent strategic retreat. Another potent example lies in the story of Robert Greene, the modern Machiavellian scholar. After facing numerous career setbacks and struggling to find his voice, Greene deliberately withdrew, dedicating himself to years of intense research and writing. This period of self-imposed ghost mode culminated in the release of The 48 Laws of Power, a book that meticulously dissects the historical and psychological mechanisms of control and influence. His prior failures and subsequent withdrawal were not endpoints but crucial incubation periods. He leveraged his absence from the conventional career path to cultivate a unique, formidable expertise that would otherwise have been impossible amidst the demands of a traditional work environment. His re-emergence was not a gradual ascent, but a sudden, undeniable assertion of intellectual authority. The allure of ghost mode also stems from its capacity to generate psychological leverage. When you are not constantly available, your time, attention, and presence become inherently more valuable. This creates a subtle but powerful dynamic where others are compelled to seek you out, to meet you on your terms, rather than the inverse. This inversion of the power dynamic is a cornerstone of advanced influence. It transforms you from a commodity to a scarce resource. This isn't about arrogance, it's about understanding the deep-seated human tendency to value what is rare and difficult to obtain. By controlling your visibility, you control your perceived worth, and thus your leverage in any negotiation or interaction. It's a quiet assertion of dominance. Furthermore, ghost mode shields you from the corrosive effects of premature exposure. Many nascent ideas, ambitious projects, and personal transformations are sabotaged not by inherent flaws, but by being subjected to public scrutiny too early. The critics, the doubters, the well-meaning but ill-informed advice givers can collectively erode confidence and divert focus. By operating in the shadows, you protect your vulnerabilities, nurture your vision in private, and allow it to solidify before presenting it to the world. This strategic delay is not about fear of failure, but about maximizing the probability of success by eliminating external vectors of interference. It's the difference between a seed germinating in controlled darkness versus being trampled in the open field. The psychological impact on those left behind, the ones witnessing the disappearance, is equally profound. There's an initial period of confusion, perhaps even concern, but this quickly evolves into curiosity. The human mind abhors a vacuum. It will fill the void with narratives, often projecting admirable qualities or formidable capabilities onto the absent figure. This creates a powerful narrative advantage. When the individual re-emerges, they are not just presenting their new self, they are confirming the unspoken, often elevated expectations that have been cultivated in their absence. This psychological priming is a potent tool for influence, ensuring that their return is met not with indifference but with heightened anticipation and respect. Consider the enigmatic figure of Howard Hughes. While his later life descended into eccentricity, his earlier phases demonstrated a masterful application of ghost mode. He would frequently withdraw from public life for extended periods, fueling speculation and enhancing his mystique. During these times, he was intensely focused on his projects, aviation, film, business, operating with a level of secrecy that bordered on paranoia. This withdrawal allowed him to make audacious moves, unburdened by public opinion or corporate oversight. His absence created an almost mythical status, allowing him to exert immense influence through proxies and surprise maneuvers. The public saw only the results of his unseen labor, amplifying his perceived genius and power, even as his personal life became increasingly isolated. The successful implementation of ghost mode demands an unparalleled degree of self-discipline and mental fortitude. It requires resisting the innate human craving for social connection and external validation. It means embracing boredom, confronting discomfort, and tolerating the loneliness that often accompanies deep work and profound transformation. This is not a strategy for the faint of heart. It is a psychological gauntlet, a trial by solitude designed to strip away superficial attachments and reveal the core of one's resolve. Only those capable of sustaining this intense internal pressure can truly harness its transformative power. The weak will succumb to the siren call of distraction, the strong will emerge refined. One must understand that ghost mode is not an escape from responsibility, but a redirection of it. The responsibility shifts from performing for an audience to performing for oneself, to meeting an internal standard of excellence that far surpasses any external expectation. This internal locus of control is a hallmark of true power. It frees the individual from the capricious whims of public opinion and anchors their self-worth in tangible achievement and mastery. This reorientation of responsibility is key to understanding why ghost mode is such a potent tool for those seeking not just success, but absolute self-reliance and an unshakable inner core. The dark side of ghost mode, if one were to consider it, is its inherent manipulation of perception. It leverages psychological vulnerabilities, curiosity, projection, the fear of missing out, to construct an aura of importance and power. This is not inherently malicious, but it is undeniably strategic and often self-serving. Those who master it understand that perception is often more potent than reality, and they are willing to meticulously sculpt that perception through controlled absence and strategic reappearance. It is a tool morally neutral in itself, but capable of being wielded for purposes both constructive and, in less scrupulous hands, profoundly manipulative. The power lies in its capacity to reshape how others see you and, by extension, how they react to you. The profound philosophical implication of ghost mode is a re-evaluation of what constitutes presence in the modern age. Is true presence found in constant digital updates or in the focused, impactful manifestation of one's cultivated abilities? The answer, for those who seek genuine power and enduring legacy, leans decisively towards the latter. Ghost mode challenges the prevailing cultural narrative that equates visibility with validity. It posits that sometimes the most powerful statement one can make is to say nothing at all, to simply disappear, to build, and to return with an undeniable force that renders all prior chatter irrelevant. It is a testament to the enduring power of substance over spectacle, of quiet mastery over loud pronouncements. Therefore, ghost mode is not a retreat from the world, but a strategic engagement with it on one's own terms. It is the tactical deployment of absence to amplify future presence, the silent accumulation of capital, be it intellectual, financial, or social. The guarantees a more formidable re-entry. It is a lesson from history's most cunning minds that true power is rarely gifted. It is meticulously built, often in the quiet solitude of self-imposed exile. The discomfort of this path is its very strength, forging resilience and clarity of purpose that cannot be achieved amidst the noise and demands of the collective. It is a chosen isolation, a deliberate obscurity for the ultimate purpose of undeniable impact. In conclusion, the ghost mode is more than a strategy. It is a philosophy of power, a Machiavellian virtue applied to personal and professional development. It is the understanding that to truly dominate, one must first master the art of strategic disappearance, to vanish, to cultivate, and to re-emerge, transformed and formidable. This is the secret of the elite, not whispered in boardrooms, but demonstrated through centuries of silent ascent. It is the path less trodden, yet it is the path that often leads to the most profound and unassailable forms of influence. The question then becomes, are you willing to embrace the silence, to endure the absence, to forge your power in the shadows, and ultimately to redefine what it means to truly exist with impact. The choice to disappear, paradoxically, is often the most powerful declaration of intent,